I'm District Governor Dave Alexander. On April 5th, 2025, Rotarians from across District 7090, the clubs from Western New York and Southern Ontario, together with friends from other organizations, gathered to discuss emerging issues in volunteering, partnerships, and working better together. We call ourselves the Best of Friends District, as we work together in service above self to our communities and to help others around the world. We had a day of speakers, robust discussions, networking, a volunteer trade show, specific workshops, and a whole lot of fun. For more details, visit Rotary7090.org and reach out to our members. We welcome you to visit a club, partner with us on a cause, come to an event, and join us in serving our communities.
There's a groundswell of support for coordinating with other service organizations in our community, and that we have great opportunities out there with many other service clubs to become more impactful in our communities.
And I would also say the strength of this district, Best of Friends, people coming in from the States. I met some really lovely folks from Buffalo, right here, Nels, and also met local Rotary clubs, because I'm part of an E-club. So getting these in-person opportunities, I've now signed up to volunteer later in August for a Peach Festival, which I'm really jazzed about.
I think the biggest ticket that came out is when Lauren, our key speaker, was talking about the disconnect between us and the youth, and the fact that they want to be a part, we don't think they want to be a part. So there's that bridge that we now know that is actually there, because it was very evident in the discussions today. It really came out. And just having the youth coming up to the mic and engaging us with the keynote speaker, I think is a huge takeaway for everybody in that club and other organizations on how we need to approach the youth in our community, and how knowing this now, moving forward, I think we'll be able to engage them further.
Talk about opportunity, you mentioned that. I mean, just going through the idea exchange, so many people doing good. I mean, you got, if you're dealing with grieving or special needs or mental health issues, there's so many opportunities. And on that last note, I'll steal this because it was shared with me. Service above self is your prescription for mental health. Because when we serve others, we do help ourselves.
Very pleased to be here today and seeing as many people and many Rotarians as we have in District 7090 at our conference. I've volunteered for many organizations in my years and done some phenomenal jobs. They've just done unbelievable jobs. And I always remember, and they talk about procurement and they talk about retainment. Retaining volunteers is so important. Compliment them constantly, give them all the compliments that you can. Because I often look back on saying to them, do you know, you volunteered 80 hours this past year and done a phenomenal job. Do you know how many people that would require in my job as to try to hire somebody and pay them for those 80 hours? X number of volunteers in any organization, paying them that much money for those hours, couldn't do it. Organizations can't afford to do that. And I often say, and I've said it many times when I'm speaking to groups, volunteers are the backbone of every organization. They work for nothing, not because they're worth less, but because they're priceless.
Just a speech from the district governor's final remarks. He talked about we the youth showing up all the time, and sometimes we should be extraordinary. Because it's in our will to act, to be the action. So when the call comes in, we should always show up. And like he said, sometimes we should be extraordinary, because the future is us. If we are not extraordinary, or we don't show up, the future will be a bit gloomy. So today is ours, yeah.
As far as this annual conference that is going on now, just to witness the presence of the diversity, both in ethnicity and in age, and just to feel the radiance of that presence in the room, the multitude of generation, You got some people in here who just ain't even hit 20. Don't know nothing before Y2K. That's the year 2000. And then you got some who, like me, been on the planet a long time, know something, but you know what? The thing about being here today is that we got some rising energy in the room that is the bearers of the new knowledge, the new skill, the new energy, and they're bursting with great creativity, and we need to make room for them for real, not just for a picture. In fact, we need to create more moments and let them lead us, because they got more invested in the world that we're trying to make a better place for all. We doggone sure better make sure we get it done for them.